Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool single slot payphone. This is Bill's equipment from MA, and when this unit came in, the locks were in the unit, but there were no keys. There was no T key. And we located a T key. We have that right here. And so that's all Bill will be using to enter into the payphone when he needs to get into it or install it. Now this unit needs a complete conversion. The PC board here that you see is a programmable board, and that's of no use to us. That's going to have to be removed. And we're going to have to install a bell circuit. We're going to put a switch on that bell so he can turn the bell on or off. We also want to install a modular port so that Bill can bring in any length line cord, any color that he chooses, bring it into the back of the payphone, plug right in to that modular port. Makes for a simple, easy plug-and-play connection. We also want to go through the coin validator. We want to make sure that all the coins are falling through the coin validator and going into the cash box area. And what's cool about this unit is it had a cash box in the unit and it has the lid. Now we're going to go through that cash box lid and explain. You have to set the latch, and we did find one nickel. So there was a nickel in this unit. Bill's getting rich with bubblegum money, and so we do have a nickel here. Now we also want to go into the handset. We want to check the receive, the transmit. We want to check our security cable that's on our handset. And for those that do not know this, when it comes to a payphone handset, the caps for the receiver and transmitter are epoxied on. Now they epoxied those caps onto the handset so that when this was out in the public, no one could remove the receiver capsule or the transmitter. So we need to go through that situation. We also want to get some informational cards in this unit for the front panel. So we have a lot of work that we need to do with this unit. We want to get a start on that. We'll come back and get some more video as we move forward in the repair and conversion of this really cool single slot payphone. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we're in the middle of the process of repairing and converting this single slot payphone, and we want to run through a little bit about what's going on. We're working on the handset. That was troubleshooted, the receive, the transmit, the security cable, and we found that our transmitter was bad. And on these T1s, they have carbon granules in them, and when these get old or they go bad, you can hear like a sizzling, popping noise, and it just makes a lot of noise. So that's been replaced. We have another one here, and that will take its place. Now, the other issue is on a payphone handset is they glue or epoxy on the transmitter cap and the receiver cap. When this is out in the public, they don't want anybody to damage the telephone, take the caps off, and play with any of the parts. So they epoxy them on. And sometimes you can remove the caps, and sometimes you can't. When you can't, you got to cut them off and epoxy them back on, or just get another handset. In this case, we were able to remove the cap, and now we're going to be able to replace our transmitter, our T1, at any time if it goes bad in the future. So that's good. Now, we also installed a port for our plug for our keypad, and we installed a modular line port so that any length line cord, any color can be brought into the payphone and simply plugged right into our modular port here. Makes for a simple, easy plug and play connection. And we also installed a bell and a bell circuit. Now, we were going to have an off and on switch or an adjustment that could turn the bell off, and we do have one. We can go all the way to the left with it, or we can go over and put it where the bell will ring in a full ring cycle. So we can completely turn it off or squelch the bell or let it ring. So that'll take care of that situation. And we can take our plug and simply plug it right into our port, and then that will complete the connection from the keypad to the circuitry that we need to get to, and that takes care of that situation. So it's all plug and play, very simple. Once you install the payphone backboard, then you can make all your connections. The other issue that we're getting into is this PC board for the keypad is not totally finished off. It has some electronics, and it went with the programmable board that was in this unit, but the programmable board was removed. So now we have to reconfigure that PC board, and we have to add components. So we need to make that board do what we want it to do and reconfigure it. So we're going to take care of that situation. We're going to add our components, we're going to reconfigure the board, and then that situation will be taken care of because we can make that board do what we want it to do. And we're going to take care of that and get that finished off, and then we'll come back and we'll get some more video as we move forward in the repair and conversion of this really cool single slot payphone. So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we're going to go ahead and show the bell ring and then our adjustment to let the bell ring or turn the bell totally off or squelch the bell. So we want to use our analyzer. We're plugged into our line cord, and we'll send a ring cycle. So we'll go ahead and start that ring cycle. We'll let that go a few times. I'll let it go one more time and we'll turn it off. Simply move our adjustment to the left. A ring cycle just went by. Another one went by, and now we'll turn it back on. I'll turn it on when we get a ring cycle. And then one last time, we'll turn it off. And then back on. And we can stop our ring cycle from the analyzer. So we know that our bell has an adjustment on it, a setting that will either let the bell ring or the bell totally squelch the bell sound out. And they wanted it that way. They wanted a switch or some kind of an adjustment so that the bell could be turned off or let to ring. And that has been taken care of. We have all of our connections here for our plug and our line cord. So it's a pretty simple, easy plug and play connection. Now we're also going to be getting into the coin validator. We want our coins to fall all the way through and into the hopper and then down into our cash box area. So we'll be taking care of that situation also. We'll come back and get some more video as we move forward in the repair and conversion of this really cool single slot payphone. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we're gonna run through a little bit with the vault door and the T key, our cash box, the lid, and the latch for that. And this would apply to the front cover also when you're removing the front cover with a T key. When this payphone came in, it was locked up. There were no keys and there was no T key. We located a T key for it, and that's all we're going to be using for this unit is the T key, and that's the way most people go. they have the locks removed and just use a T key to lock everything up. Now, when you're removing the vault door, right now the T key is about at 2 o'clock, and that would allow you to open the door. And you probably just want to leave the T key in it because it's not going to really come out in that position. And so it's the easiest way to do this is to leave that key in the lock. If you take the key and you pull it back and then pull it out and set it to the side, and then you go try to put the vault door on, it's not going to fit. Your latches are out. So the best way to do that is to leave the T key in, do whatever you need to do, and then go ahead and put the vault door back on and then latch it and walk away from it. And that's the same way with the cover. Once you put the T key in the front cover, you're going to unlock the latches for the front cover and just leave the T key in it. Because if you go and pull the key back, your latches latch and you're in the wrong position to put the cover back on. So the way they used to do it in the field, they would use the T key, leave the T key in its position, and that way the front cover or the vault door would go right back on. Then they would latch it and walk away from it. We're going to set that to the side. That's the easiest way to use the T key with the vault and the front cover. Now on the cash box, most customers and most people will just take the door off, and it will come off. It's made to come off, and set that to the side and not even use it. They find it easier to just take the cash box and slide the cash box in and use it that way. Now, if you're going to use the door, what you need to remember is there's a latch here, and it has to be set each time the door is opened. Because what happens is when you put this door and latch on the cash box and you shut it, there's a trigger here. When you're putting it into the payphone, it's a little tricky. Sometimes, it can be hard to put it in to the payphone. You just have to kind of work your way and get it just right. And it takes a little bit to get used to. And then you can pull it out. But now that this cash box has been in the payphone, what's going to happen is if there was a seal or a lock here, this trigger is no longer going to open up this trap door. And they did that because they didn't want whoever was collecting the money on the route to be able to get into the cash box. So now the trigger's locked, you can't get in the trap door, and there's a seal or a lock here. So when you open this up, you have to set this latch again to the clockwise, and then your trigger will move again. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to put it back in the phone. If you try to put this box back in the phone and this latch has been triggered, it's not going to fit. I don't care how you do it. It's just not going to go back in. So now, when this latch gets triggered and you pull it out of the payphone, it snaps back and you're not going to open it again. So every time you put the cash box back in after it's been removed, you got to set the latch, or it's not going to go back into the payphone. And it's already kind of difficult to get them in when the trigger is easy to move with the latch latched. And it takes a little bit to get used to that. And now when I remove it, the trigger's not going to move. Our trap door's not going to open. We're going to have to open it, reset our latch. We're ready to go again. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and remove the door. And we're going to run some change through here. Go ahead and put our cash box in. And that's all spring loaded, so it can get a little taking some time with it and getting used to how everything works. And I want to go ahead and put some change into this unit. Okay, we can put a quarter in. I can hear that that fell into the cash box. I want to use a dime. You can hear that that went into the cash box. We're going to use a nickel. That hit the cash box also. Now, if a coin ever gets hung up, you can hit your coin return, or it'll just simply go back down into the coin return. That happens. It's normal. Coins can get hung up in it, and you'll have to hit the coin release here. And then other times it'll spit it down into the coin return automatically. So, you know, it happens. That's why that equipment is there. So we'll do another quarter. That went into the cash box. We use a dime. That sounds like it hit the return. It did. Put a little spin on that dime. Went right in the cash box that time. Here's a nickel. Go ahead and chuck our cash box. Bill's getting rich with bubblegum money here. So there's all of our change. We can put our cash box right back in. So it takes a little getting used to using everything on the payphone and getting familiar with how the cash box is set up, how it goes in, the vault door, the front cover, and the T key. And then also, when you're putting your front cover on, you want to remember that you have cords in there. There's a plug for the keypad that goes to the back of the base of the unit, and you want to make sure that's out of your way when you're putting the front cover on. So it takes a lot to get used to with a payphone, but there are some of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're taking the phone apart or bringing the front cover off of it to hang it or getting into the cash box area. We're going to go ahead and come back and start our final checkout. So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we're ready to start our final checkout. Now, we also want to mention that we installed some front sign informational cards in this unit. They were missing when the unit came in, along with rewiring, building any circuits that we needed to do. We had to reconfigure and add to the circuit for the keypad and replace the transmitter. We also freed up the transmitter cap on the receiver. We installed a bell circuit, and that bell you can turn off and on by the adjustment that we showed earlier in the video. So a little bit of everything went into the repair and conversion of this really cool single slot payphone. And I also want to mention our amplified pickup. We use this in troubleshooting, repairing, and on our final checkouts. It's amplified so that you can hear the audio from a receiver. And we have an amplifier here. I can push the button and give dial tone or take it away at any time. Now we want to go ahead and use the analyzer, and we want to ring the unit. So we'll go ahead and start a ring cycle. We'll let that go a few times. I'll let it go one more time and we'll give you some dial tone. We want to go ahead and walk through our numbers. If you watch the analyzer, you'll watch the numbers roll by. I'm going to end in a 2. Now I want to transmit into the transmitter. If you watch that red light on the analyzer, every time you see that red light light up, that's an indication of 100% modulation on transmit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello, hello. So now that we know that this unit is ringing in on a ring cycle, it's dialing out, we have transmit and receive. I can press this button on the switch box. That'll give us a line out, totally take the analyzer out of the situation, and we can call a time and temp number. So we'll go ahead and give you some dial tone. We'll call that number.
Good evening. Today is Thursday, March 31st. The time is 9:25. Current temperature at 59 degrees. Now the weather forecast for the Belleville area.
Breezy today, mostly cloudy, then becoming partly sunny, showers and thunderstorms likely, highs in the mid-70s. Colder tonight, mostly clear, lows in the lower 40s. Cooler on Friday, partly cloudy, highs in the upper 50s.
We can hang up, give you some dial tone. We'll call my number and it'll be busy. Hang our unit up. Now that we know that this really cool single slot payphone has been repaired and converted, we can return it to Bill and he can enjoy this payphone. I'm sure it's going to look great no matter where it's installed. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Thank you for watching and have a great day.